Hey guys, this is Truth Whisperer, and this is number 3 in the segment of hashtag Enough is Enough. And this is going to be a breakdown of how corrupt the judiciary is and how it got that way. When you look at the 249 years that this country has been a country, and you see that 80 to 85% of the electorate was or is a lawyer, you begin to see what the problem is. You see, the original judiciary was set up with 2 branches. There was a Admiralty Maritime branch of the government, military tribunals that settled commerce disputes, and lawyers were just merely tortfeasors. And somewhere along the line, they realized that they could manipulate the ambiguities of the English language to garner favorable results for the highest bidder. So they did away with the common law division of the courts, which was written into the Constitution for the people. And in that Constitution, in those common law articles of the Constitution, there was a bond created in your name that settles all matters before the bench that are not capital offenses. Okay, so now that they've done away with the common law articles and they've created this straw man figure that is he's a financial character. He's a corporation. He's a fictional corporation created by the government, and they hold you, the living, breathing man, accountable for your corporate fiction. And that way they can put your ass in jail while they take that bond that was created by the Constitution and buy cocaine or do whatever they want with it. Okay, that's the reality of how things work. Okay, so in order to communicate with and defeat any enemy, you have to learn their language. You know, before you go to war with China, the first thing you have to do is learn how to speak Chinese, or you're not going to be able to eat. You're not going to be able to recognize when they're surrendering if you don't know what they're saying. And you can't win a war without communication. So a while back, a bunch of guys in the child support arena on YouTube were charging guys, $800 to $1,200 to do these long drawn out, programs on how to, do these UCC filings and all this shit that takes years to get. It should have been in place long before you got into trouble, in order for it to work. So I garnered what I could from each situation, and I came up with 13 words that will stop any non-capital proceeding at first appearance by using commercial language. When you at first appearance, when they ask you to enter a plea, you cannot enter a plea. You can say these 13 words and stop it all. They're going to try to coerce you and threaten you to get past this, but this is your right. This is your constitutional right to demand this. Okay? You tell them, before we proceed, this tribunal must certify my right to subrogation in writing. That's it. You just let them know that you're fully aware that they're trying to steal the bond that was created under the United States Constitution that settles all matters before the bench. And at that point, the prosecutor should take the case file, which is yours. It's your case. It's your file. And the check that he took out against your bond that morning in case he failed. Because when the state's attorney decides that they want to file charges against you, they have to take out a bond a security bond in case they lose the case. Because if they lose the case, they have to pay that amount. Okay? So that's why you don't see many people losing and many prosecutors losing, and that's why the system is so rigged against you, because it's stacked up by these corrupt pieces of shit in Congress and in the judiciary. All these people writing all these corporate policies that protect them. Every agency that used to protect we the people from the tyranny of government are now weaponized and aimed at us, and they protect the corporate entities from us. That's where we're at right now. Okay, so it's sad, you know, and that's unfortunately the way it is. When you hire an attorney, unless you've got enough money to buy the biggest scumbag, corrupt piece of shit that you can find, who is able to pay off the judge, who is an experienced scumbag, piece of shit, corrupt fuck, you might as well just save your money for when you get out of prison or whatever, because you can do just as well by yourself. Because here's the deal. The judge and the prosecutor and your lawyer belong to the same bar association. They're sworn to uphold the same oath of office, and they have the same duty to the state. Okay? They're on the same team. They hang out at the same gay bar and the same gay bathhouses. And there's just no way beyond that, you know? They are what they are. They're scumbags. You know, and if you look really close in the Constitution that we used to have, we're under United States Code now, and they contradict each other, so they can't exist together. There has to be one or the other, and we're currently under the United States Code, which is corporate policy, and corporate policy is made into law because senators have stepped to the side and let these purported nonprofits that make enormous profits, they're the ones that make the law by putting forth corporate policy. You know, Sharia law is in this country right now. If you don't believe it, look at everybody wearing masks. That's Sharia law. Okay? Wish I could give you better news and a better outcome, but that's the reality of it. The United States Constitution says that there's no one who has a official title in their name can serve as a politician. I wonder how many people who have Esquires in front of their name are in office right now. Esquire is loyalty to the Queen of England, okay? And the Bar Association, anytime you talk to any government employee about lawsuits or anything like that, the first thing you want to do is promote the Bar Association, okay? The Bar Association is not a government entity. It is a private corporation. It trades on the stock market, and BAR stands for British Accreditation Registry. And it is a branch of the Crown Bar of England. And it has this fealty to the Queen of England. At one point I actually thought that, that was a branch of the government and that every lawyer belonged to the bar, but thank God only about 30% of every lawyer in the country actually belongs to the Bar Association. And the ones that do are just total scumbags, okay? And everybody working in the judiciary right now are cognizant. They're judicially cognizant that they're participating in fraud. So every one of them, by all means, should be tried for treason. they're guilty of sedition, and they're guilty of treason for being a part of the war against we the people. And that also is defined in the common law provisions of the Constitution. You know, you always hear everybody talking about the First and Second and Fourth Amendment, but you don't ever hear anybody talking about the Sixth Amendment. I think everybody needs to start looking at the Sixth Amendment and look at the rest of the amendments there, and look up constitutional, the common law provisions, okay? Because common law is where the people should be in the court. They shouldn't be treated like pieces of property and being tried in a commercial courtroom. Okay? Because that's what's going on. When you're born, your straw man becomes alive after the state registrar signs your birth certificate 5 to 7 days later. And your straw man is 7 days younger than you are. And he's living the life right behind you. And he is the one that gets you in a whole bunch of trouble. Okay, so you need to learn how to get away from your straw man. It's a long process. It's getting easier because now they have ways at the state level to repudiate your citizenship to the United States. When you become a United States citizen, you are a citizen of a foreign country. And that's why these Democrats are trying so hard to get Washington, D.C. as the 52nd state, because they're wanting to sneak it in there. Okay? It's not... It never has been since this country formed. Washington, D.C. has never been a part of the United States. All of the zip codes within Washington, D.C. are how the Queen of England, how the British and the monarchy we borrowed the money from to finance the Revolutionary War. That's how they get their money back, because all commerce goes through zip codes. Without zip code, there's no commerce. So there's so much out there that so many people don't have any idea how things work. And I've dedicated my life to learning every bit of it, so I can expose as much of it as I can. Because they made the mistake of illegally stealing 9 years of my life. They tried to turn a $100 bill into $10,000, and they didn't get a cent of that money. But they did get they got 4 years of my life in prison and then 5 years of probation afterwards. So they stole 9 years of my life because the Monroe County, Florida judiciary ran a scam military tribunal where the state attorney's office prosecuted the case, and my lawyer allowed the plaintiff in the case to perjure themselves, saying they'd never tried to kill themselves, and the prosecutor withheld the exculpatory evidence that they had Baker acted her 4 times in order to put me in prison so they could make money, because the crime victim advocate pays the victim any monetary help. The statute in 688, I think it is, or 633 Florida statute says that whoever is found guilty of a crime and the crime victim advocate is given any monetary help to, there's a fine to be imposed of $10,000. So the plaintiff in my case missed a day's work because she broke her hand and the telephone on my face, and missed a day's work. So they gave her a $100 bill and tried to turn that into 10 grand. And I wish I could find some return on my money like that. Then I'd be able to afford a scumbag lawyer and get out of cases like that. You need to learn how to administer your public servants, because all they are serve ants. They work for you. You know, when I found out that the Child Support Enforcement Agency had illegally garnished my disability, and I sent in a demand for discovery, and you know the clerk of court and family courts in Dayton, Ohio, sent it back. Oh, we're processing your records request. I'm like, that wasn't a request. That was a demand. You need to learn how to administer to your public servants because they work for you, and it's time to start making these people be accountable for their criminal actions. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this everywhere. People need to learn this stuff, and the only way they're going to learn it is if they hear it from somebody who's gone through it. And believe me, I've gone through it. And I'm tired of it.